Hey, it's Belle here, and I'm really glad you're joining me today for another chat. Now, if you've been feeling overwhelmed, scattered, or just drained, then this one is for you. Now, we've all had those moments where it feels like time is just slipping through our fingers, and no matter how hard or how many productivity tools or calendars we have, we just don't feel like we're getting anywhere and we're gaining traction. And if anything, sometimes we feel even more exhausted. So let me ask you, how many times have you said to yourself, I just need more time? Because this is something that I hear from my clients over and over again. But what if I told you that time was not the issue at all? What if I said that the thing holding you back was something else? Now, I really want you to think about that, because when we talk about time, time is never the problem. Energy and focus are always the real issues. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about why energy should be your first priority and not time, and look at it in a really, really different way. Because we're taught from the moment that we start working that time is the most important thing that we need to manage. And if we manage our time, things will get done. So we have calendars, we have schedules, and we have productivity tools. And all of these things are designed to help us manage our time better. And once we do that, then everything will fall into place. And yes, that is the case for part of the story, but that's not the whole story. Because it might seem like time's the issue. We don't have enough time for our hobbies, or we don't have enough time to catch up with that person. But the truth is, you can have all the time in the world and still feel exhausted, still feel overwhelmed, still feel burnt out, and sometimes even still feel resentful. And I've been there myself at times, and I know what it's like to feel like on paper it should look like you have time, but you still feel like you're running on empty and you don't get things done that you wanted to get done. Because when your energy is low and we don't manage that, even the things that usually make you feel alive or inspired, they can just feel like they're too much. And when you think about individuals who look like they have control of their time, or time is of the abundance, and they're not just managing it, they're not actually managing their time. The first thing that they're managing that gives them that time is energy. And they have an energy first mindset. Now, as a mum of four, and a lot of people listening to the podcast can relate, there are a lot of things that we need to juggle all at once. And I hate the word juggle, but there are different things that we need to manage. And I'll tell you this, you can have all the time in the world, but if you're just running on fumes, like I mentioned before, you're not going to get much done. Or if you lack the energy to really focus and have that clarity, you're not going to get much done. And that's why energy has to always come first. Now, I'm not just talking about physical energy, although that's part of it. I'm talking about the whole group of energy. So emotional energy, which plays a big part, mental energy, and even spiritual energy. So all of these things matter, and they create the platform where we can gain back time, or where we can create time in our lives. Because when those different areas are drained, everything else feels harder. And it's like trying to play a tennis match with no fuel in the tank, or trying to play a match with no balls. Now, I've had those days where you're going through the motions, you're ticking off the task, but you don't really feel like you're building traction, and it feels draining. And that's the exact moment when we need to stop and we need to really get clear in what is the outcome that we want. And we need to get clear with ourselves and go, okay, what is draining me right now? Because when you can identify what is sucking your energy, you can begin to tweak it and sometimes even remove it. And when you do those things, you create that space that you need to recharge and move you forward and give you that energy. Because when we talk about high performance, it's not about doing more. It's about protecting your energy. It's about being strategic with your energy. It's about knowing when to go all in, but also when to step back. And quite often, we need to put the brakes on in order to move forward faster. Sometimes we need to put the brakes on, gain clarity, see where is our energy going, And then once we can acknowledge that and tweak, then we can move forward. Because the thing that most clients or people that I talk to forget at times is that when we feel overwhelmed, it's usually because we're overcommitting, we're overgiving, or we're holding on to too much mental clutter. But we haven't taken the time to stop and go, okay, hang on, what is giving me this feeling? Now, if you think about your own life for a second, now this has happened to all of us, including myself. How often do you say yes out of guilt or obligation? Or maybe you keep pushing yourself past your limits, or you're just trying to get everything done, even when you know it's not sustainable, but you don't want to let somebody down. Now, I'm far from perfect, and we all have those moments, but the difference is somebody who is striving to excel in these areas puts the brakes on and sees what they need to do differently. They take a step back, they pause, they breathe, and they remove just one thing or reassess what is happening around them. Now, this could be as simple as a task or a commitment every week that's taking up your time. It could be an internal belief that's holding you back. And once you do that flip in your mind or you work through that with somebody, things change. But when you start cutting out the things that are draining you and you start assessing where is your time going or lack of time and where is your energy going, you start to get that back. And that's when, and only when, you can begin to show up as your best self with clarity, with focus, and with the right energy to actually get things done. So this is what I'd love you to do today. I'd love you to take a moment and really think about, where are you leaking energy? Is it out of a habit that you do that you haven't even thought of? Is it out of guilt? Is it out of obligation? Is there something on your to-do list that you're holding on to because you have to? Or is there someone you're saying yes to out of guilt, but you really want to say no? Or are there beliefs or habits you're holding on to that are draining you without you even realizing it until now? Because when you can begin to identify where you're leaking energy, you can start to take back control and you can start making decisions that protect your energy, not just your time. And let me tell you from experience, when you begin to do this and constantly retweak and reassess this, everything gets a hell of a lot easier and you begin to find time that you never knew you had because you're approaching situations with a different level of energy. Now, I know I talk about this a lot, but there is power in saying no. And in order to gain our energy, we need to say no more. And this one's huge. It's one of the most effective ways to protect your energy and create the space you need to thrive. Now, this can be hard. You may have pushback from people. I know how easy it is to feel like you have to say yes to something, to every opportunity, to every person, to every shiny new object in your business, to every request. But every time you say yes to something that is not aligned with your goals, you're saying no to your energy, you're losing time, and you're losing focus. So you're saying no to your peace of mind and to the things that matter most. And this is one of the reasons why we start to feel overwhelmed and why we begin to feel like we don't have enough time. Because when you get clear on what truly matters, you can start saying no with confidence and you can let go of the things that are draining you, and that will free up space and free up energy to say yes to the things that light you up. So if you take one takeaway from today, I'd like you to think about, where in your life do you need to prioritize your energy in order to gain back time? So you might be trying to do too much and giving your energy away, but when you really focus on protecting this, everything will become a whole lot easier. You'll feel lighter, more focused, and more productive, no matter how busy your life should look on paper. So today I encourage you to think about, where can you say no, or where can you set a boundary to protect your energy? Because when you do that, everything else will begin to fall into place and you'll find yourself not just managing your time, but thriving. If this resonated with you and you love deeper support, then book a chat. And don't forget to join my free community where there's lots of videos and tools that can really help you move forward. So thank you for hanging out with me today. And remember, you do not need more time. You need more energy. And when you prioritize how to do that, time comes in abundance because you have everything you need to succeed. Until next time, live a successful, purposeful, and fully charged life every day. Your coach, Bel.